Everyone, my name is Katie Martin, and this is for Project 3 for Dr. Calloway's class. So this week there was a lecture on poisonous plants to livestock. So a few of the species that wasn't talked about, that is what this lesson is going to cover. So a few definitions that we need to know. So an annual plant is any plant that completes its life cycle in a single growing season. So we're going to have to plant those every year. And a perennial plant is any plant that persists for several years. So that could normally means for 2 years plus, and we will not have to plant those every year. The first plant that we're going to talk about is buttercup. We normally see these in the springtime, and a lot of times you would just be going down the road at just a random field, and you'll see these all over the place, especially if they are not spraying for this at the appropriate time. So this plant is an annual. It has glossy yellow flowers, which you can see in this picture. It is normally grown in low moist areas that have creeks or in open wooded areas and even pastures. So the toxicity here, it's an oil called protonamine. As the plant matures, the more toxic it becomes. And the stems and the leaves for this plant is what makes it the most toxic. All livestock can be affected by this plant if consumed. And a lot of times your animals will avoid this unless that is all that's in that pasture to eat. And the animal may have abdominal pain, diarrhea, convulsion, or even death. And if that animal is lactating, the milk will be bitter and it will be reddish in color. And a lot of times whenever you're just riding down the field, you will normally see the fields that look like this. And there is certain things that you can spray to actually eradicate this out of your field. And a lot of times you have to spray year after year for it. Another plant, milkweed. This is a perennial. The flowers can be white, greenish white, red, orange, lavender, or green. A lot of times these are found on the roadside, fence rows, open wooded areas, pastures, or waste places. And the toxicity here is resinoids, alkaloids, and glycosides. And the whole plant of this is toxic. So milkweed is something that is needed for monarch butterflies. That's one of the only reasons I incorporated this in here. And a lot of times you're not going to have this growing in your pasture just wildly, but it can happen. A lot of times you just have to worry about it if you have it planted in a yard and your cows or any animal gets out in that yard. All livestock can be affected by this. They can show signs of staggering, convulsions, bloating, labored breathing. They'll have dilated pupils, and it could be a rapid and weak pulse rate. They could go into a coma or even death. Hemlock is our next plant that we're going to talk about. It is a perennial. The flowers are white on this. Normally found in swampy areas, stream banks, marshes, wet pastures, or roadside ditches. The toxicity here is an alkaloid and resinoid toxin, and it is found in all parts of that plant. And it also contains an oil which contains the toxin. All livestock can be affected by this. They also will have they can have dilated pupils. They can show weakness, staggering, slow pulse to rapid, trembling or jerking, followed by convulsions, irregular breathing, death. And then it can also lead to abnormal fetal development if your animal is pregnant at that time and they consume this. Pokeweed is another plant that we have a lot in Georgia. It is a perennial plant. The flowers are white to purplish and the fruit is a black color once ripe. A lot of times you can find it on waste ground, fence rows, pastures, or old home sites. The toxicity here is an oxalic acid and saponin called phytolactotoxin, and alkaloids can also be present in this plant. The root is the most toxic part of the plant, and a lot of times we'll see this in the spring, summer, and fall. So pokeweed, our pigs, cattle, sheep, horses are the most affected if they consume this plant. The most common affected would be your pigs or swine, and your animals will show vomiting, abdominal pain, bloody diarrhea, There'll be a breakdown of red blood cells. There'll be a drop in their milk production if they're lactating at that time, convulsions, and even death. But most animals recover 1 to 2 days after removing the plant. White snake root is a perennial. The flowers are white. All southern states east of the Mississippi River has this plant. Normally it's found in moist, open, deciduous wooded areas or bordering streams. The toxicity here is an alcohol called trimetol, and it's found in all parts of the plant. Horses and goats are normally affected by this. The animal may show trembling, stiffness, sluggish, standing with their feet wide apart, slobbering, vomiting, constipation. They could be dribbling of urine, and if you smell their breath, they'll have a ketone smell. So the references used for this was Poisonous Plants of the Southern United States book, and then also there is an extension publication from Upson Lamar Extension on toxic weed and IDT.